Now we are going to discuss about a topic from human physiology. So from the first chapter we have gone through first two chapters. So a little break without studying this biological terms, terminologies and names. We will go through one chapter from the human physiology, that is digestive system. We have studied about this digestive system from, I hope, from 7th standard. Stomach, this, that and all. But in 11th standard we are going in little bit deeper with a perfect understanding about digestive system. We know that there are a lot of organisms are there which are having different feeding habits, that is nutrition, how they take food. They have different feeding habits. If you see us, we take heterotrophic nutrition, we are doing, some are autotrophic in nature. And whenever we are seeing in feeding habits of some organisms, if you see this some fishes like whales and all, they are filter feeders. They are filter feeders. And if you see the mosquitoes and all, they are something like a needle feeder. That means they will inject with something and they will suck the blood. Suckers, they comes under the goal of suckers. So we have different feeding habits are present in our nature. So different organism, different type of feeding habits. So after that, this has to be digested also. Some of them will digest the food. The digestion, the word is very simple: converting a insoluble macromolecule, which is a food, into a soluble or an absorbed form, converting into an absorbing form. That's all. That is known as digestion. So this type of digestion takes place extracellular, that is outside of the cell also, and inside of the cell, or outside of the body, inside of the body, like that this digestion or extracellular, intracellular digestions also takes place. You have studied little bit about those things. And here in this chapter we are going to discuss about the human reproductive, mainly human reproductive system, because it is called as the coming under human physiology. So you know that humans eat very different types and kinds of food. Some of the foods we will take as raw, some of the food we will take in cooked form. So, and we drink fluid like substances like fruit juices, water, etc. Those things are also be taken. So we have taken different types of food, and all these food will be having some major components like carbohydrates, fats, lipids. They all are big molecules, and we can't take, that means our body can't take that directly into the blood. And there are some things like minerals and vitamins which is required in a very few amount, very in micro amounts, and those things should not be digested, it should be absorbed. So our digestive system is made like that. And our digestive system is having one more speciality also. According to the environment, our digestive system can also adjust. For example, in winter time we will feel hungry very fast, because our body needs more energy in order to warm up the body. And in summer seasons our digestive system will be little slow, we will not feel hungry how we are feeling in the winter season. And in winter season, when we try of eating food, we will feel as much tastier than the summer season. So a lot of things like that is there. These all are coming under this digestive system, and according to our need, according to the outside, these things are changing. So we are going to discuss one by one from this. So if you see inside this, the total system, that pipe like structure starting from the mouth till the anus, through which the fecal waste or undigested food materials are thrown out, that is known as anus, and the food will be taken through the mouth. So from the mouth to the anus, that complete tube like structure is non tube like or complete pathway, we will call it as alimentary canal, otherwise we will call it as digestive tract. And if you see this human digestive tract, it is almost 30 feet long, that means somewhere around 8.5 to 9 meters long they are. And there are some organisms are there which have the longest. It depends upon the body of the organism. For example, giraffe, well, they have long neck, so they will be having a long esophagus when compared to other organisms. So blue whales and all, they are said to be the having the longest digestive system or alimentary canal they are having. And if you see the human digestive system are divided in such a way that we have a pathway for the entry of the food, and that will go to the stomach. And whenever we are entering the food, there are also some mechanisms are going on, some type of absorptions, some type of mechanical factors are running there, so that the food will be very easy to digest. And we have a time, that means almost our gap is 6 to 7 hours. For example, if you have taken breakfast in 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning, the lunch time comes exactly by 1 o'clock, 12 to 1 or 2, in between 1 or 2, 12 to 2, somewhere the lunch break will be there. So exactly 6 to 7 hours only our body can hold for digest. That means by 4 to 6 or maximum by 4 to 5 hours total digestion will be done, and the nutrients will be absorbed to the blood. So we need such a system, and we need different types of absorption patterns are also required. And in this chapter we have to study those things. And if you when we are coming to the human digestive system is having mainly 3 parts which you are studying in 10th standard. There are 3 parts are there. First thing is that the intake, that is ingestion, digestion, then excretion or ejection. There are 3 parts are there. Ingestion means taking in food. Digestion means converting that macromolecules into a micromolecules, and excretion or ejection means throwing out of waste after digestion. So we have to study that what is ejection, what is digestion, what is ejection, those things we have to study. And if you see the digestive system, that means, and if you see the alimentary canal, the first thing that comes in a play, that is the mouth part. So mouth part is very important to us for the study for the digestion also. So we have teeth, we have tongue, we have different structures inside our mouth which are supporting the digestion, and some type of absorption also takes place there. So we are going to see that one by one. And this is the complete human digestive system components. That means starting from salivary gland, pharynx, mouth, esophagus, stomach, gallbladder, all this we have to study. So first we will move to the mouth or oral cavity. This particular part is known as the, and what is inside this is known as the buccal cavity or oral cavity, and this particular is known as the cheek part. And if you see inside this part, the skin inside this having lifetime only for 1 to 2 days. Every time new skin will be formed, and this particular skin, that is, or we can say that this particular tissue that is present inside our mouth is squamous epithelial cells, that is non-keratinized squamous epithelial tissues. Non-keratinized, there is no keratin. Keratin means which will be very rough, and if you see on our hands we can see the keratin there, and which will be dead. They are not like that. Every time they are shed off, so it is made up of non-keratinized squamous epithelial cell. And when we look into this, our buccal cavity, we are having a tongue, which is the muscular organ, the strongest muscle in the human body. We are having teeth. So we are having two types of teeth. We are having deciduous teeth and permanent teeth, like that we are having. And we are having the hard palate, that is to the front hard, and to the back we are having a soft palate. And we are having ulva, that means a grape like structure is there. And down to that we are having two passage. From here we are having two passages, one for the air, that is for breathing, and another to the stomach, that is through the esophagus. So these are the main areas that is present inside our mouth. So we will go one by one. And in the notes it was said that it is having two major parts. One is known as vestibule and oral cavity proper. Vestibule means the gap between this area, that is gap between the teeth, lips and the cheek. This particular gap is known as vestibule. And the oral proper or cavity proper means whatever is inside that. And if you see here, our cheek and this are attached together here. This is known as a frenulum, where it is attached. This particular frenulum means bridge. That's all. These two are attached with a frenulum. And if you see here, cheek is the only part in the human body where there is no sweat glands. These are some of the questions which was asked inside few exams which you may face in the coming days. Coming days means in future. And CBSE don't ask these type of questions much. And inside this we are having the teeth. And if you have this teeth, human teeth is very much important, because teeth is the only organ that is helping for chewing. And in biology, instead of chewing is a common name, we will be using a term known as mastication. And the arrangement and the development of the teeth, how the teeth is arranged and its development, that particular pattern is known as dentition inside the mouth. And we are having, in a human being, we are having two types of teeth. One is known as a deciduous teeth, which we call it as a milk teeth, and another one is known as a permanent teeth. Milk teeth means it comes by the time of after 1 year of age, and it will be there till 3 to 5 years at the maximum. And after 5 years, this deciduous teeth will shut down, and the permanent teeth will start coming. And if you see here, you can see one interesting thing. We have studied about the different types, what are the different types of kinds of teeth we are having. That means the first two teeth we are known as the incisors, and we are having the canines, and we are having the premolars and molars. Like that, it is arranged in both the sides, up and down, and totally we will be having 32 teeth. And in human adult, it is arranged in such a way that two canines, two incisors, one canine, two premolars and 3 molars on the lower jaw, and upper jaw also same. And total, when we are counting, it will comes around 32. And when we are seeing this to the infants is having another dental formula. Dental formula means how many canines, how many incisors, that's all. That is known as the dental formula. And if you see here, the infants don't have 2 1 2 3 formula. Instead of that, infants are having 2 1 2 formula. 2 1 2 formula means, I have put the picture of this teeth here, and you can see here they have an incisor, 2 incisors are there, canine is there. First molar, second molar. They don't have premolars. Adults are having premolars. So whatever premolars of the adult is the molars of the infants. But when it is shut down, when the tooths are shut down, when the permanent teeth are coming, it will form 2 by 2 1 2 3 arrangement in both the sides. And apart from that, we are having a last teeth which is called as the wisdom teeth, the last molar, the third molar, which is also called as the wisdom teeth. And these teeth will arise only after the age of 18. So there will be a lot of pain whenever these teeth, especially this wisdom teeth, is coming. And if you see the structure of the tooth, you can see that the white part, especially these teeth, are made up of strong calcium and phosphorus. These are the two chemicals by which these teeth are made up of. These teeth are made up of. And the white part, upon this white part, there is this white part which we call it as the enamel, which is the hardest substance on the face of the earth. That is what this white part. And just below the white part, and if you brush it off with a hard brush or something, we can see a off-white, which is called as the dentine. And this dentine, to the dentine we are having the pulp cavity, which are having root canals inside. These dentines are growing area, so instead of them to make it grow, they need very rich supply of blood. So that particular supplement will be given through the canals, that means through the nerves, through the veins and the arteries that, or capillaries, that pass through this root canal. Because of this, the teeth are having one tooth is having 3 parts. Whatever on the top, it is known as the crown, and whatever is till here and down is known as the neck, and the down part which is put inside that socket, or we'll call it as a gum or gingiva. This one is known as gingiva or gum. Whatever the things which we can't see, we will call it as root. So there are 3 parts are there: root, neck and crown. And most of the times we have heard that we are getting the tooth decay. This tooth decay can be happen in many ways, and the main reason of the tooth decay is problem comes because the amount of enamel has been reduced or shed off. If the enamel is shed off, automatically there will be a tooth decay. We don't want to eat chocolates, then only we will get, because we have some bacteria that lives inside our mouth. Automatically they will infect those dentine area. And these are the main things which we have to know from the tooth part. And I have given this inside the note, so you can go through that. And there are some deficient, that means some diseases related to the tooth, which we call it as the cavities. Cavities means the bacteria is inward and the enamel is gone. They will go very deep into the structure of the teeth, and they will do that. And next is the tooth decay. That is the general name of the disease, that is gingivitis, that is inflation of this gum inside this area. If this is inflated, this is known as the gingivitis. Then tartar, that means some thick white deposits or black deposits, that which we can see on our tooth. And overbite, sometimes the upper tooth protrudes more than the lower one, and teeth grinding like this. So these things are very common. And sensitivity of the teeth, because when the enamel is gone, when we take this cold or hot things, suddenly we will get some sensitivity. That means something is happening inside our teeth. We will feel that. So that particular, it is because the dentine is exposed. So dentine is the area which gives strength to the teeth. So when that is exposed, then automatically we will be getting some sensitivity. And next comes is the tongue. Tongue is the hardest muscle in our human body. This tongue is having some structures in on it, which we call it as the papillae, which holds the taste buds. And if you see here, tongue is having multifunction, that is talking, that is speech, another one is tasting, and the tongue is attached to this lower part, it is known as this attachment, this type of attachment, that is on the lower part, we will call this as lingual frenulum. Frenulum. So same frenulum is present inside, attach the tongue with the lower socket, jaw socket, and which we call it as the lingual frenulum. So we are having thousands and thousands of taste buds on it, which help us to make the taste very good. And and if you see that the back of the tongue, that means this tongue is attached somewhere over here, not over, somewhere over here, to a bone known as hyoid bone. So these are the things we have to know. And if you see the taste factors, the front side will give you the sweet, sidewise we are having the sour. First comes the sour, then comes the salty, then very last comes the bitter, and the middle portion will give umami. Umami taste is because of MSG, that is monosodium glutamate, otherwise known as Ajinomoto, which is one of the major content that we can see inside the Chinese foods, which make it very tasty. So these are the main things you have to know. And another thing that comes inside is the salivary glands, which is very important. We are having salivary glands over here, and here. That means in one side we are having 3 salivary glands. Here also we are having 3 salivary glands, which makes in pair, one here, one over here, and one underneath the tongue. And the salivary gland that is present over here to the attached jaw, we call it as the parotid gland, and which is over here, it is known as the submandible, which is underneath the tongue, which is known as the sublingual. So parotid gland that is over here, it secretes a maximum amount of saliva, which is having an enzyme known as amylase, that is 95% of its water, 1.5% is amylase, and other constitutes about some minerals, and the antibodies, that is IgG, secretory antibody, will be present there. So why secretory antibodies are present there? Because mouth is an open area, so bacteria can come and invade us. So in order to protect this area, if the bacteria come inside, slowly they started to infect down. So in order to protect that, we are having secretory antibodies over here. So these secretes the saliva together, and the pH of the saliva goes somewhere around 6.8 to 7.1 in between, and it secretes a main enzyme known as amylase. What this amylase is doing is, amylase will convert the starch into other into its monogrades, into monosaccharides. It will be converted into monosaccharides. So that is the main role of amylase enzyme. And another thing, sometimes we will get infection over the salivary gland also. One such infection, which we call it as the mumps, which comes to the parotid glands and the submandible glands, sometimes the sublingual also. And what is happening inside the mouth when we take food? What is happening is, The before we started to take food, saliva will be ready. Once the food is taken in, this will mix the food inside the mouth with the help of tongue, and when the mixing is taking place, the same time the teeth will masticate the food into very very fine pieces, and the saliva, food, everything will be mixed together. From that, when the saliva act upon that masticated food, this amylase enzyme will convert some of the into monosaccharides. That is what mainly taking place, but we will never get much time to do the digestion here, and whatever the digestion that takes place inside our mouth, we will call it as mechanical digestion, because we are using the teeth to digest the food. So I inside these notes I have not included salivary amylase. Next time I will include that. So whatever it is, mixed, absorption, everything, whatever the balance is there, that will be passed through the esophagus and it will reach to the stomach. This is the main thing there. So please go through these notes. Apart from that, you must read the textbook very properly. Any doubts, please come back to me or put your doubts under the area where I am posting this video. Thank you.